This is a message to any Christian that goes on these lives, uh, you know, without getting prepared. Because these atheists and these ex-Christians, they're going to be asking you questions about the Old Testament for, I don't know why they don't just, you know, why they don't just ask the Jews, Jewish people, the Israelites, people that study Judaism. Why don't they go after them and ask them why they do those things? In the Old Testament, slavery and the capturing women during a war and making them marry them or raping them or just all these different atrocities that they come up with in the Old Testament. So, and because I know a lot of you Christians don't read, a lot of you don't read the Old Testament, because I didn't read the Old Testament for years, but because why read it? We believe in the New Testament, out with the old and with the new. But like I said, if you're going to get on these lives that are asking for Christians to come on there, prepare yourselves, read, listen to a lot of the ones you want to get on and see what scriptures they've come up with, and then look them up, and, so you can come up at least with some, an answer that's going to, so you don't be made to feel foolish up there, because, even though because I know the answers to all these, but they're not going to accept any of those, because, God did what he did back in the Old Testament because, he didn't want to interfere with the free will of people. And so, and these people don't even understand that God, the Israelites, they were God gave them rules to live by. They weren't as savage as the other nations around them. And so that's, they don't, these people that are on these lives, they don't even look into the other nations that were there during the time that the Israelites were out there, when they were living out there 3,500 years ago or 4,000 years ago, how they were, because they were worse. They did worse things than what, God at least gave them rules and regulations and, and then he had to gradually do them in increments, as they got, more evolved as time went on. He had to get them, to you can't just throw somebody and it'd be like somebody, us being thrown into somewhere in the 3,500 years in the past. They would go, you can't just throw somebody into something like that. You have to, so they're looking at it from our, the 21st century view, instead of trying to think, oh, how did they think back, how were they, back then. They didn't have technology, they didn't have computers, they didn't have what we have. They were just living out there in the wilderness, and so they were kind of, savage. They were kind of savage. But anyway, get prepared if you're going to go on these lives, because, at least know those scriptures, and when you do go on there, because I'm thinking about getting on one of these lives too, and say, hey, why don't you ever ask one of these Jewish people to get up here? Their ancestors are the ones that did this. We're Christians, we're none of our ancestors, none of us is from Israelites. We were just grafted in, because of Christ, because of Jesus. We don't, our background, we don't belong to one of the tribes of Israel. We were just grafted in. We're Gentiles. And so that's what I want to go in there and ask them. How come you guys don't put up their Jews that practice Judaism, come up here and then ask them those same questions about those atrocities that they keep they're mad about what God did. They should know better, or get a rabbi up there, ask for Jewish rabbis wanted, on this live. That's really who they should be asking for, so they can, instead of us Christians, like, no, out with the old, in with the new. I mean, we follow Christ. And then they're coming up with like, oh, you're following, that's what Paul said. So you're a Paulinian. Paul he's the one that God anointed to send the message to the Gentiles, that he's the one that was the foundation of Christianity. Say, yeah, I'm a Paulian, but I follow Christ. But Christ got Paul to be there. But they don't want to believe that. So go ahead and flow with them. Say, yeah, I'm a Pauline. They'd say Paulinian. Yeah, I'm a Paulinian. So stupid. But anyway, just say, yeah, I'm a Paulinian. All right, let's move on. And so, and if they're like, well, how come you're being so mean? And I thought Christians are supposed to be nice and Christ-like and not be, excuse me, well, that's why Christ died for me, because I'm not perfect. So, we just can't, that's why he died for us. We can't get this crap right. So what's your excuse? Since you don't believe in God, so what's your excuse? You don't have any problems. None of you people have any problems. That's what I was going to ask these, next time I get on a panel, I say, so none of you all have any problems? None of you? And I know you do, because God says we all do. Believers and unbelievers, we all have problems. I'd like to know how you all, figure your problems out. Probably, I know how you figure your problems out. You get on these lives and start cussing us out, blaming God, and taking it out on us because you can't get to God. That's why they get on us. They're not mad at us, they're mad at God. So they take it out on us because they can't get to God. I figured that one out. Because they can't get to God, they can only get to us. Well, but anyway, I just thought I'd put this out there anyway, just so you guys could. So next time you get on a live, make sure you do your homework and read the Old Testament. Find out what those scriptures are that they're going to bring up. But don't be afraid to say what you say. Tell them why they don't pick on the Jews, or why don't, tell them, yeah, I'm a Paulinian, because I believe in Paul too. Don't be afraid. Say, yeah, I do. So, but anyway, thank you for listening, and God bless you. And like I said, stand up. Say what you got to say, but get in the Word and make sure you know what you're talking about. Thank you. God bless you.